supervised free service. They will have authority to do testing, random testing for drugs and alcohol, and my turn and your GPS tether will be fingerprinted at the Oakland County Jail. You on that GPS tether, you may only, thank you, let the record reflect that you just gave the court the finger.
Yes,
you may only leave your house. My turn. Can you mute him, please?
God's gonna judge you. Remember, the way you're judging me, God's gonna judge you the same way.
Mr. Chokr, you're not helping yourself.
Thank you.
I don't care.
Okay, so that did not go well. It started with a middle finger. It eventually got into shouted threats, metaphysical threats generally, but maybe implied physical threats as well as anti-Semitism in what you just saw. So this is a Michigan man. He was charged this week for going to a local Jewish synagogue and making a variety of anti-Semitic and racist threats where they could be heard by security for the synagogue, for the parents there, for kids as well. And in this particular time, people are very worried about that sort of thing. This is Hassan Yehia Chokr, 33-year-old, charged with 2 counts of ethnic intimidation in connection to the threats that have been made back on Friday. And he does not seem to be repentant literally at all during his screed, and we're not gonna play too much of it. We might, okay, we'll go to one more just so you can see how crazy this got. Take a look at what happened a little bit later on.
And now he has removed his pants to show the court his backside. So I'm putting him in the waiting room.
So yes, we're all adapting to this remote work world. That is a thing that apparently people with the anonymity of being online, I guess, feel they can do. But it is nice that she's able to put him in a waiting room. Anyway, this is serious. Mooning aside, he yelled, "God is going to judge you. Remember the way you're judging me? God is going to judge you the same way." So that's not great. But when you start yelling at the judge, calling her an effing Jewish bee or a Zionist bee, yeah, people are gonna be a little bit worried about that. When you not only have that in you to do that, but that when you're going to harass people at a synagogue, I can understand why people would be intimidated by that and worried about what might come next. Sure.
Every time these folks lash out like this and they have these horrific things to say about one particular group of people for whatever reason is that they've been led to this point, I wonder what is that end game? What is it that it did for you? Do you then, this guy's going to jail, but then after that you like nailed it. I feel so good about that. Like the guy when they were writing things on the overpasses of bridges, talking about anti-Semitic stuff, supportive of Ye and other things that he's doing. And then that guy was promoting one of those disgusting messages and he was just laughing about it as he recorded himself. Did you then go home and say, nailed it, told those Jews? Like, then what happens?
I don't know.
Like, that's the win for you to go off and look like an absolute idiot and really prove what it is that many people say when they're pushing back on your anti-Semitism. If all these Jewish folks are the devil, do you think you've convinced folks of your stance if you come at them like this? Is that the process? Is that really work? If you're watching Kanye do what he's been doing, do you go, nailed it, he's winning? Yeah. What's the objective?
I can't put myself in that point of view. I try, we try to base what we do off of empathy and compassion, and that's what that exercise is. But I can't imagine hating a group so much that you would want to go to them to what? Get locked up? I don't get the goal. I don't understand it. But there are a lot of really hateful people in this world. And bear in mind, when we talk about what the politicians are saying, and when we talk about what people in pop culture are saying, how these things get normalized, the effect is it shows regular people, oh, this is what the people I look up to do. So this guy is not getting invited on to talk shows to make crazy comments about the Nazis and stuff, but he wants a version of that, I guess. He wants to be able to talk about the things he believes that he saw in a YouTube video or something. And so if you don't have an outlet, I guess you're gonna lash out at a synagogue or something like that. This stuff is constant, by the way. Like we do occasionally check in and cover it, but these sorts of threats, whether in person or just bomb threats that are made, happens literally constantly. We're gonna talk maybe tomorrow on the show about a state representative who has been attacked online as a groomer for standing up against the casual usage of the term groomer, and bomb threats were called in at his office. This just happens constantly. This is why we're so worried about these things being normalized. Sometimes the guy going to a synagogue and yelling crazy stuff or mooning. Sometimes it's someone who brings an AR-15, and we know how that goes.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.